Guys, MerfleFan45 here, and today we'll be reviewing Neon Genesis, The End of Evangelion. Well, Neon Genesis Evangelion, The End of Evangelion. The full title is super huge. So, I can't exactly go into the plot without spoiling it, so if you haven't watched the original Evangelion series somehow, leave now, because this review is going to be full of spoilers. I adore this movie, so I'm going to spoil the hell out of it. So, yeah, if you haven't seen the original Evangelion, haven't seen the redos, haven't even seen this movie, leave now. Go watch the original series, go watch the movie, then come back here. So yeah, Neon Genesis, The End of Evangelion, follows basically after the most of the events, because it changes the final 3 episodes? 3 or 2? And basically it follows Sele's. I feel like it should be pronounced Seals, but that's how they pronounce it in the show. Sele's all-out attack on Nerve. And yeah, that's the plot in a nutshell. It's just one massive, massive action scene for the first 40 minutes. So this contains my favorite moment in all of Evangelion and possibly film history. The moment where Asuka's at the bottom of the river, they're shooting all the missiles at the Eva, and she's like about to die, and she's like curled up in a ball saying, "I don't want to die, I don't want to die." And then she explodes out of the water and just demolishes all of the Sele forces. And then her 5-minute fight with the Eva new series Eva things, that's what they are, new Eva series. Her fight with them is also amazing. It's 3 minutes straight of just total slaughter. It's so brutal. And then the moment she dies is one of the most brutal moments of the whole show. Because if you're familiar with Evangelion and you're familiar with the redos, well, if you're familiar with Evangelion in general, it's just as soon as she dies, you know something's about to go down. As soon as she's dead, you know something's about to go down. And then something does go down. Of course I'm going into spoilers, so I'm just gonna go all out and say what happens. So, again, if you haven't watched the show or watched the movie and you're still watching this review, please leave. The moment when Shinji's Eva reaches out to him without him even being in the Eva, you immediately know, everything's gonna go down. And then that sequence. So it goes from an action movie into, philosophical, trippy horror movie, honestly. The entire, basically death and rebirth of the world sequence is one of my favorite things ever. It's so horrifying to watch. You see how everyone at Nerve dies is so brutal. Oh, and also Misato's death earlier. It's so heartbreaking. In her final line, too, where it's "My love, Kaiji," and you immediately no, she's dead. She isn't coming back. And then there are so many deaths in this that just hurt. Even Gendo's death hurts. And he's the bad guy, and you find out why. You find out why he's so detached. Well, you find out in the original series too, but here it makes a lot more sense. And then Rei has maybe the most brutal moment of the whole show, where she becomes one with Shinji, basically, and becomes life itself, and Shinji gets to decide whether the world lives or dies, and he decides it should die. And then that final shot, if you haven't seen this movie or you haven't watched Evangelion again, please leave. But that final shot where Shinji realizes he wasn't lonely, and he did have friends, and he didn't have to destroy the world, is one of the most, like, heartbreaking shots because of what's going on during it. Like, it's hard to explain, like, without spoiling exactly what happens, because I know this is a spoiler review, but if you haven't seen this movie in a long time like I hadn't, I'm not going to say what the final shot is, but it's just one of the most brutal moments in all of Evangelion, because it's just like an emotional gut punch. It's not even just one gut punch, it's like a massive, massive, massive gut punch. Ono visually here goes insane. Like, if you're familiar with Lynch and you think that's trippy, watch the final 40 minutes of this movie. In my opinion, the final 40 minutes of this movie rival the Stargate in 2001. Like, that's how good this is. Like, the way he visualizes everything and how he shows, like, how detached Shinji became, like, it's so good. And then that visual of him on the playground and the swing going super slow, then you realizing what's going on. And then it just hurts to watch. It's a masterpiece. It's like top 10 of all time. So yeah, that's the end of my review. If I wasn't sick, I would go on longer. But yeah, stay safe and have a good day.